Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're talking about the Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra case out of San Antonio, Texas, our hometown. Myself and Blue, we're on location today. However, there was a dog in the background, so I took the audio out. I'll be talking over it, kind of telling you guys what I see. The first thing that we were looking at was just kind of where the car was parked. If there was anything that we could see from that area that maybe could clear up or answer some questions. We also were looking for cameras around this specific area to see if maybe perhaps if the person who committed this crime may have been caught on said camera. This is myself in Blue. I'm telling everybody, we're on location. Again, there was a dog barking. You wouldn't have enjoyed it. So here we're kind of taking a look at the markings that we talked about yesterday on the live. Not sure yet if that is the vehicle braking hard or if this is the markings of when the vehicle was being dragged out by the tow company, if the keys weren't there. That's the other thing. If the keys were there, then I doubt that they're going to be dragging it out. They're probably going to move it. If the keys aren't there, and the question comes, where are they and who has them? This was reported earlier today that Soto was in the front seat, Guerra was in the back seat. Both were shot behind the right ear. Now, if Soto was in the passenger seat, which I'm assuming so because there's been some rumors there that she had a car seat in front of her. There was 3 victims. One was unborn. So we can assume that the third unborn victim was the child, Savanah Soto's son, still in the womb. But it sounds like somebody else may have driven this vehicle out to this area. And behind the right ear, execution style, kind of sounds a little bit like maybe perhaps this could be one of those drug situations. Let's look back at the scene. These are a couple of still images again of the tire marks left by what we suspect was the victim's vehicle, a Kia Optima. Now, the other thing that we also noticed is that was a bit of glass around where, not so much where the tire was, but if that tire was an indication of where the vehicle was, it would have been outside of where the vehicle was. And it's kind of hard to see on camera just because it's not picking up the light, kind of like the human eye would. But, I circled some of them here. There's a lot more. The pictures don't do it justice. Here on the lightened area on the left, there's quite a bit of glass pieces there as well. It could be from a bottle. It could be from a window. It could have been from the police department or law enforcement trying to get into the vehicle if it was locked. On this image here, this was probably the best one to kind of tell how much glass there was. The sun is kind of hitting it in the right angle. And you can see there in the middle of the screen that it's kind of collected there. It does look like somebody did clean up, but not everything. This isn't a sign of like the entire window. So that's why I kind of think that maybe perhaps it was the police department, getting into the car. Maybe this is what fell out. There's also the possibility if the window was shattered and when the door was opened, glass that didn't stick to the tint could have fallen out. And the bigger pieces were obviously collected. I think that majority of it was collected, swept up, but you can see quite a bit of it left behind if that, in fact, that was what it was. And that's what I'm explaining right here. Is just quite a bit of glass there. And then one thing I noticed is how small this area is. Like there's houses literally feet away from where this vehicle was parked. Dogs were alerted by us being there. Curious to know if these dogs were outside. Maybe not during the nighttime. They probably were brought in. I would hope they'd be brought in during the nighttime in December. But you could definitely hear dogs barking at us. That's why we took the audio out. But as you can see, the distance between where I'm standing at, which is on the far end of the road here, and this also isn't including the space needed to park your vehicle, right? So this is from where I'm standing, where the vehicle's front of the vehicle would be parked at, to where the sidewalk is. Once he put those cars there, probably the size of a big alley on its own. I don't think that the crime was committed here. I think somebody would have heard gunshots. Even right here, you can see the dumpster in the background and the vehicle's parked out, how much space they take and how much space is left. There's a reason why this is a one-way in this direction. One thing, let me go back a little bit. One thing I did want to point out is back here, the gate is down. I'm not sure if it was down before, this crime occurred, or if law enforcement pulled it down to go check back there. I don't know, but it is closed off. There's not a way to get out of there. There is a part where the fences meet on that side, also on this side. So, if somebody committed this crime and they took off on foot, unless they're jumping fences into people's yards, I don't think this is going to be a plausible exit strategy. Now, I took some pictures of a couple of footprints that we've seen. I think they're probably from law enforcement, or it could be from anybody going out there and checking it out. But we thought we'd take a couple of pictures of them anyways and show you them. These pictures to me look more like, the tactical boots that a police officer would wear. So I do think that is probably not the suspect. But this one is interesting. You have a cigarette butt on the ground. Now, a lot of folks are going to say, well, that can be from any time. It could be anywhere. Now, that cigarette butt doesn't scream old to me. I don't look that old, right? Look at what it's laying on. It's laying on a twig there, a couple of twigs, some branches. If you look a little down from there, you're going to see a wrapper there. That wrapper looks like it's been there a while. You have leaves on top of it, below it, and you can, it just looks like it's been deteriorated for a while. But that cigarette butt doesn't. You can tell it's been there for a few days, but I wouldn't think more than a week. Just something I saw, something that was interesting. I mean, if somebody did drop this car off, and they committed this crime, and maybe they're waiting for somebody to pick them up in another vehicle or something, I can see them getting out and smoking a cigarette and try to calm the nerves down after committing a double homicide. Now, this is a gas station leaving out. And like I said at the top of the show, that we're going to be looking at a gas station and possibly this car being seen on camera. There's I think it's some sort of memorial. It says R.I.P. Pook. I can't read what it says at the bottom. Graffiti there. Didn't look like it was something that was too old. In fact, on the left side here on that drawing, you can see where somebody had put paint over something that was probably drawn there not too long ago. The paint looks kind of fresh on the yellow. You can see it's different yellow, or brighter yellow compared to the rest of the wall. As it came to the front of the gas station, I see a camera that's facing out towards the right side of this store. That's right in front of where this crime had taken. And on the other side, there are two cameras as well. This one main camera is pointing at the door. This one camera in the back, though, is pointing towards the parking lot. If this vehicle drove through here, and I'll bring up an image here. There's an aerial view of the general area where the victim's car was found. This X mark right here is exactly where the car was found. This is the apartment complex. And right here up front is this little convenience store where we saw the cameras at. Now, if this vehicle was coming straight from Miss Soto's residence or apartment complex, there's a good chance they're coming up this way with this yellow arrow is coming through. Now, the fastest way to get back here would be to turn down this road right there. Now, I can see, middle of the night, dark, somebody can miss this first turn. That's exactly where you're supposed to turn. In fact, traffic is going this direction. However, the car, Ms. Soto's and Mr. Guerra's car, is facing as if it was driving this area, as like these red arrows. Now, if this person was familiar with this area and he knew that there was cameras, he would have gone in front, came down, looped around, and then parked here. And that's one way to get out of not being seen. But what would he have done here? There would have had to have been another vehicle here, either somebody waiting or maybe somebody following him, and then they take off. But he turns this direction and parks it here. I think whoever's following the suspect, if there is somebody, is probably going to stop right behind them to pick up the suspect and then take off. Remember, this is a narrow street, so they would have to take off in this direction unless they do some sort of U-turn, which is possible to do the U-turn. But I think that most people under this stress, they just committed a double homicide, want to get out of there as fast as possible, are probably fleeing in that direction. Now, there is a possibility that earlier in the day that this vehicle came and was dropped off here, and then, the crime was committed elsewhere. But that would be throwing out any drug deal gone wrong or any of those type of things. That would have been premeditated revenge of some kind or message of some kind type of thing. You guys let me know in the comment section, which direction do you think that this person may have came in? Because the entrance to the actual apartment complex is up here in the very top corner of the screen. This is where you enter into the apartment complex, and you can go one or two ways. You can turn here and go down this street and then turn down and get back there, or you can go straight and then just make a right turn and then come back all the way around. Then I bring up these camera angles again. You have this one facing the door, but you have this one in the back facing towards the street and the parking lot area. And on this image right here, you have one right up here at the top of the screen, and it's facing out the other direction. So you have a total of 3 different cameras facing these 2 different exit areas. So we probably are going to see when this vehicle passes in front of this gas station, if it passes on its own. I'm assuming that law enforcement has gathered the footage from this convenience store, and based on the location of the cameras, they're probably going to see when that vehicle passes by in front of this store or turns down on either side of it. They're also going to see if any vehicles leave this area, either in front of the store or to the side of it, around, or between a specific time after the Kia goes in there. And if they see somebody walking out of there, or they don't see anybody at all, then that means that this person was well aware that there were cameras up here. I mean, he could have also assumed it is a convenience store. You would assume that convenience stores have cameras. But in that moment, adrenaline, fear, you just took somebody's life, 2 people's lives. I'm not sure if he's, thinking, are there cameras there? Are there not cameras? And just trying to get out of there as fast as possible. So I think that there's a good chance that this person was caught on camera. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Do you think he was caught on camera? Do you think he is familiar with the area and went the route that wouldn't have caught him on camera? Hit that like and subscribe button, ring that notification bell. We appreciate everybody. A little bit later, I'm going to drop a video of the trip from the victim's apartment complex to the apartment complex back here where the vehicle and the victims were found. That being said, I'm out. Peace.